Hey, welcome to the Video Game Break Podcast. I'm Carl Sudell, and guess who I have back with me? It's Kenzie Burke.
I'm back again. For some reason, he can't get rid of me.
I can't. You kind of stay here sometimes and just wake up and you're there.
I just leave Dragon Age around your house.
Have we talked about that on the podcast?
I think so.
Okay.
I hope so now.
Left a copy of Dragon Age Origins. I didn't want to play it.
A while ago.
Now I'm playing Dragon Age Inquisition. I can't stop playing it. And I was like, why do you want me to keep this? Because I'm in a game right now, and it's going to be like hours and hours and hours.
That's fine. As long as you go back to Origins, everything will be okay.
Well, actually, for some people who don't want to go back to Origins, but want to know the story, we have a little helpful hint for you later in the show. Does it sound like Case but we do. I found a link, and you probably already know about the Dragon Age Keep.
Yes, I do. I did it before because I changed. It's really good if you change systems because all of my saves are on the 360 and I'm playing on the PS4 now. So I did the Dragon Age Keep and did everything I did and got my whole backstory together, and it's fantastic.
Have you tried that? Oh, wait, Paul Tessie's here, by the way.
Yes, hi.
That's that person. And we will go into the introduction in a minute, but have you tried the Dragon Age Keep thing?
No, this is the first time I've heard about it.
Oh, it's super cool, and basically you pick a character, and then you are allowed to go through the story of the game, basically.
Yeah. You go through Dragon Age 1 and Dragon Age 2, seeing what choices you made throughout the whole games. So that way it makes it so you can use all that lore in Inquisition, which if you didn't play the games, it doesn't matter as much, but it's kind of fun to go through. It takes like an hour and a half. It takes a long time.
Yeah.
And it's like reading out loud to you the story, and then you pick the way it goes.
So does it actually keep all your records of your previous gameplay?
No, this is you recreating them.
You just make you just like
okay.
make a new character, and you can you don't have to pick the ones you did in the actual game. You could just pick one. And it kind of walks you through it. So I think that's great for anybody to get started with that game.
It was awesome.
Yeah, and also we have another couple links we'll put in the show notes. But like Kotaku did some great beginner's guide that I read the whole way through, and it's actually funny too, really entertaining. So read stuff before you start it.
Pro tip.
Pro tip: read stuff before you start it. Yeah. So I will be playing that. Paul Tessie is here, our special guest, our first time on the podcast. Welcome.
Yep, thank you.
And you are what's your Twitter name again?
Mega Retro Man.
That's it. I love that name. That's
Thank you.
Really good.
I did not come up with it.
It's Mega. Well, you have it now, so you know what? It's yours.
Wait, how do you not come up with it?
Actually, a friend of mine came up with it. She hated my original Xbox gamer tag. And she said, okay, well, I hate this. I want to come up with something different for you. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever.
So it was born of hate.
Sure, yeah, a little bit.
That sounds
so
weird.
She basically said, okay, how much do you like Mega Man? A lot. Okay, and you love retro gaming? Yes.
Wow.
Mega Retro Man. What do you think? Yeah, I like it. I do too.
It's catchy.
That's your game now. That's your gamer tag now.
It sticks. I like it.
Yeah.
You should use that on your YouTube channel as well.
I do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I mean, whoop, whoop, whoop.
Like backwards talking. And I saw you do a 99 Live podcast, or 99 Lives podcast. Mm-hmm. And you just started that, or have you been doing that for a while?
Well, we haven't been doing it for a while, actually. We haven't made a new episode in a while. Me and a couple of my other friends, we gathered around and discuss, like one of our episodes, we discussed the trailer to Assassin's Creed Unity. One of our other episodes was a strictly WrestleMania episode. So it's not just games we talk about. We just talk about all sorts of nerd culture.
Cool.
I feel like there's a lot of gamers out there who are also really into wrestling. For some reason, those two seem to go together.
That
for some
crossover
reason.
happens, yeah. I wasn't since the olden days, because that's when I was into wrestling when I was a kid. But
I've never cared about wrestling.
Yeah.
On record, I've never cared about wrestling.
That's fine. I don't judge you in any way. Also, you are the SRGE 2013 Arcade Armageddon winner.
Yes, I did.
That is one of your titles. Mm-hmm. And we have SRGE person right here.
I happen to work for a good old Seattle Retro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it was it's interesting because I wasn't planning on doing Arcade Armageddon that year. Yeah, I know it sounds weird, but no, I heard about the Arcade Armageddon happening, at Surge, but I thought it was during the actual competition was during the expo hours. So I wanted to spend all my time at the expo rather than performing at Arcade Armageddon. Then I found out later, when we came across the preliminary booth, that the actual Arcade Armageddon was after the expo. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, well then, if that's the case, then let's do this. Let's see what I can do and what I can come up with.
Well, what seems what you can do is do a lot of high scores, which is another thing. There's a hashtag high score on the Twitters that SRG puts that on, right?
Nope.
Oh, no.
We're just internet friends with them.
Internet friends with High Score. Okay.
Yeah.
So High Score is a separate entity.
It is.
Okay. I get those two mixed up because it seems like a lot of things are retweeted between you guys.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
literally almost everything.
So you're kind of like Twitter lovers.
Yeah,
some way.
sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm romancing highscore.com.
Yeah. And see if you win. I'm like, there's Paul with another high score that I will never beat.
Yeah, there's a few of them on there. I'm on that side. I'm pretty much known for the competition cards for the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo. Like the 1990 Nintendo World Championships, I have the highest score on that site. Unfortunately, it's not as high as the guy on Twin Galaxies.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah, which is the official world record high score website, which I'm actually trying to get on for the Super Nintendo Campus Challenge.
nice.
So, but yeah, I my 1991 Campus Challenge for the NES was just added on there, and the 1992 Super Nintendo Campus Challenge has been on there since I first started the site. It was the first submission I put on there.
Nice.
And for those of you at home who don't know what the Canvas Challenge is or the World Championship carts, Paul, why don't you give us a little bit of background, just kind of like why they exist and what games are on them?
Okay, well, for those of you hardcore Nintendo gamers, most of you well know the 1990 Nintendo World Championships is the holy grail of Nintendo games. They had basically had a Nintendo Championship tournament back in 1990, which the winner was Thor Ackerland.
My friend actually competed against him and like got second, but second didn't get you anything then.
I'm
Like
not sure.
you just like won,
Nothing.
you won or you didn't, because when they went around, they did it in separate cities. So you had one winner in each city, and then they all competed together, kind of like
okay.
the Wizard.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Real life wizard.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, at that time I would have been 7 years old. So, and I had never played Rad Racer at the time, or Tetris even.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the Nintendo World Championships consists of 3 games. It's Super Mario Brothers, Rad Racer, and Tetris in those orders. Each game you have a requirement to meet. The Super Mario Brothers, you have to collect 50 coins as fast as possible. And Rad Racer, you have to just complete the track. And then Tetris, you have to just basically rack up a score with the amount of time, which obviously all those games are a timed competition cart, which the competition times are 6 minutes and 21 seconds. So, and that's what they used at the actual 1990 tournament as well. So basically, I've just been trying to do my best and rack up a score and trying to, which the world record I believe is 4.5 million, and right now I'm sitting at 3.1.
Oh, that's close though.
It's in the millions area at least.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
in the range.
it was just hard enough for me to break a million the first time.
Yeah.
The 1991 Campus Challenge for the NES was my most recent addition. That game has Super Mario Brothers 3, Pinbot, and Dr. Mario.
Super Mario Bros. 3 seems like a weird choice for a timed thing, right? Is that timed too?
Yeah,
There's so many different worlds and things you can do, you know?
The requirement for that is actually similar to Super Mario Brothers. You have to collect, I believe, 30 coins.
Oh, okay.
25 or 30 coins.
Wait, coins are easy to get in Mario Brothers. aren't
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, like, especially
hit
like
that one.
Mario 1, you have to get 50 coins to continue. So you
Right.
just have to like get through and get to that one pipe that has like a bajillion coins down
they?
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Interesting.
fastest way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Pinbot, you just have to obtain I think it's 100,000 score, and that is probably one of the easiest things to do because it's all on a skill shot.
It's so funny how score is like so not a part of a lot of games right now, you know, specifically console games, right? Your score, like imagine Dragon Age having a little 20,000 up in the right hand corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with the games now, I haven't seen a score on any of the current games in like forever.
No, except for like Geometry Wars and stuff
I know
like
there's
that.
shooter
you know?
stuff. Yeah, there's some shooter stuff. And there was that one. What was that one? First person or third person like gun game? Was it Gun Club or something?
There is a game called Gun Club. It's on the PS2.
It might be that. There was one where
I
like you
hope that's
got
real.
bonus points. You were basically getting points for kills. That was the whole thing.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up. I think it was it Gun? Did I say Gun Club?
I think there's a Gun Club on the PS2.
I don't know.
Am I right?
Gun Club is also a band.
I gotta pray to the maker.
I don't think it's Gun Club.
Nah.
Okay, all right.
Nah.
We'll get to Dragon Age.
Nah.
All right, let's get back to the pre-interview, basically. So, Paul, what is one of your first video game memories? We like asking everybody who comes to the podcast that question.
Well, my earliest video game memory was getting my very first Nintendo Entertainment System back in
NES?
Back in Christmas of, I believe it was 1987 or 88.
Okay.
And I never knew about video games until then. And obviously Super Mario Brothers was my very first game. And again, I've never touched a video game ever until then. And once I start going, hooked it up to my grandparents' TV, I spent the rest of the night just playing Super Mario Brothers and didn't care about any of the other presents that I got.
Yeah. Thanks for that sweater, Mom. I'll get to it after this level 1, 2.
Yeah.
But also, was it with the robot or no?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I didn't have Rob the Robot. It was just a standard NES system with the controllers and Super Mario Brothers and Duck
He
Hunt.
didn't sell very well.
All right, pop quiz.
Oh, okay.
What does Rob stand for?
Robotic operating buddy.
Yeah.
Why did it take me so long for that last one?
Well, most things,
I was thinking Builder.
buddy.
Yeah, he's a buddy.
He's a
It's like
buddy.
My Buddy. That was in the 90s, right? My buddy.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
80s.
My
Yeah.
Yeah.
buddy. Oh, yeah, 80s.
Yeah.
But
80s.
like, it's kind of funny because since he was called your robotic operating buddy, in most of the games that you play with him, in the end, all he does is push the second player controller.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't do dick.
So he doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, so you didn't have friends to play this game with?
Yeah,
Here's
yeah.
this robot.
Yeah.
Right.
I see you have no friends. This guy will do the second controller.
But now I have an army of them and I love them, so it doesn't matter.
You have an army of Robs?
Yes. Well, I have like 6. It's like
Okay.
an army.
Yeah, it seems like
Can I have one? I don't know.
I know. Can we give them up?
Charity?
I hug them every day.
So Super Mario Bros. Was your beginning.
Yes.
And then what was the first console you bought then after that? Because your mom or your parents probably bought your Nintendo, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They bought my Nintendo. They bought my Super Nintendo and so on and so forth. I want to say the first system I bought was a PlayStation 2.
Oh, it's such a good system.
That was mine.
Yeah.
That was the first one
And
with my own money.
I don't regret any bit of it.
No, that's perfect. Yeah, I just recently rebought a silver one, those small silver ones.
The Slims?
Yeah, I can't remember which one it is.
Yeah,
Is that
it's
what
a
it is?
slim.
Yeah, slim.
Okay.
It's teeny and it's silver, and there's just still so many games that I have yet to play because they had so many fucking titles. So
Yeah,
No, yeah.
PS2 is the biggest library of any other system.
oh, it's great.
I hope that's true as well.
Just
It wouldn't surprise me,
facts.
actually. It wouldn't surprise me one bit.
well, Paul, we're glad to have you on board, and like I tell everybody, once you get on the podcast once, you're part of the Video Game Break podcast family. So come back
That's
anytime you
awesome.
want.
Thank you.
And Kinsey, yes, you're grandfathered in as part of the family.
Part of me hates it when he's like, "You're part of the family now," and I'm like, "I was never welcomed as part of this family."
She's just, by osmosis,
I'm a little bitter.
Kinsey by osmosis. That's all I'm going to say that. So basically, this Moses podcast will be Dragon Age Inquisition talk because we wanted to do that, and because we're playing it like crazy monsters, me and Kinsey and I, and Paul just started.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we still have some stuff to talk about, and you can lend yourself and your ideas about the game to the conversation. I broke my notes up into sections of good, bad, and weird.
I didn't take notes.
You didn't take notes, but it's all in your brain. I'm
Yep.
guessing. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many hours are you in right now?
70 hours and 43 minutes.
Fucking hell. That's insane. I'm 35 right now. 35 maybe. And I got it way later than you.
I got it on launch day.
Yeah. But I can see this game is a Skyrim game. This is what this game is.
It's a Skyrim with sex.
and there's sex, but
Deal.
not that much. We shouldn't really sell that because so far, 35 hours in, I ain't got anything.
It's a BioWare game.
Right, I know, but I'm just saying it's not like that's what the game.
Well, you can't advance any relationships until you get to Skyhold.
Right, which I'm there now. That's great.
It's fantastic.
Before we get started, so definitely check out the show notes. Do the Dragon Age Keep. Look at the Kotaku buyer beginner's guide. I'm on drugs, people. I just need to tell everybody that. If I seem a bit off today, it's because I had some crazy mouth surgery and I'm on medication. See, just by me saying the word medication, it sounds like I'm medicated.
Yeah.
Carlos, everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm not drinking tonight, which sucks because I'm on all these pills and I can't have alcohol.
I'm the only one drinking.
But I sound drunk.
Now I'm drinking alone.
You are drinking alone. Oh.
Thanks, guys.
That's the
I'm
saddest
sorry.
kind of drinking.
Maybe by the end I'll convince Paul to have a beer with me.
Well,
I'll take you up on that.
at least he can. Anyways, sorry if I mess up during this podcast. But, what was I talking about? Dragon Age.
Pro tip, when creating your character.
Please, go to Dragon Age Keep.
Yes.
And then
Go
what
to
else?
Dragon Age Keep, and in the character creation, turn down the fucking lip shine.
Yes, turn that fucker down.
Turn it down all the way.
If it could be turned off, that'd be great. I think it just goes really low or something.
Yeah, because like if you turn it up too high, your lips are fucking iridescent in all the cutscenes.
Yeah.
And I also found turn down the blush, because like my character, I mean I'm a girl elf and she's amazing, but like the blush isn't even that high, and I made it so in the character creations like screen, I thought it looked kind of nice because it's kind of orangish. But now that I can't go back to that character creation scene and like in all the cutscenes, it's like let me put it this way. My boyfriend came up and looked at my character, and I was like, what do you think of my character? He's like, why is she wearing so much blush? And I'm like, oh, so that's what you see first? So
Yeah.
Turn down the blush, turn down the lip shine.
And the lip shine, yeah. I had to go back on the lip shine, actually, because it is pretty ridiculous. There's a couple of things I want to mention at the top that you should just know that's going to happen in the game that I'm not hating on, and I know Kinsey's not, but it is weird, is that there's a lot of weird little bugs in this game.
Yeah.
The game's so massive and huge and awesome that I don't give a fuck, right? But that being said, almost every single load screen, the characters drop in from the sky.
Yeah.
They basically just like a video game would do behind the scenes. That's how they, set characters and sprites or whatever and polygons. But like, you see it almost every time.
Almost every
you
time.
noticed that, right, Paul?
I did notice
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Then there's a lot of clipping too, like crazy clipping, like things just clip through tons of stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's this one scene with this guy who has this really weird hat. You seen that guy? He's got like a super huge hat. It's like a band. What's it called? A
Sombrero?
Sombrero. Drugs, people. I don't know what I'm saying. It's like a huge. You remember he walks in and there's. It's a spoiler. I can't say anything else after that. He's a character you can actually be later.
Oh, Cole?
Yes, Cole.
Yeah.
He's a crazy huge hat.
He does have a crazy huge hat.
Okay. Anyways, at some point he's like carrying somebody, and the guy's arm just clips through the hat the whole time.
Oh, yeah, no, I
In
do
the
remember that.
cutscene.
Yeah.
It's like, really? So, anyways, those things aside, I'm just telling you in advance, like, just deal with that. Like, it's such a great, grandeur game that it's okay. And the other thing I'm going to say, and then we'll get into it, is that if you play as a mage, don't expect to feel the tactile combat, because it really feels like sometimes you're button mashing, or because you're from a distance. I'm not. I'm a two-handed warrior guy.
Same with the archer.
And the archer, okay. Because I had heard that complaint too. They're like, well, you just hit the button, hit buttons and that's it.
Okay. You also do the same thing when you're, a double daggers or a two-handed or whatever. I mean, you just like pull the trigger or to hold it down. You can hold it down.
Yeah.
And then hit the button for your specials.
But the thing is that from a distance, it seems like you're not maneuvering a lot or whatever. And what's crazy is that as there's so many really cool action-oriented moves in this version, like there's a roll, like a super cool tumble roll. You can roll into an area. There's a chain thing from like Diablo where you can chain bring someone over. Or what's the guy from Mortal Kombat? Scorpion. You can do a scorpion move. So there's so much fun shit in the combat part of it that I get discouraged when I hear people go like, well, I'm not playing Dragon Age Inquisition. I can't even I'm just hitting one button, so.
No, you're hitting multiple buttons.
You're hitting multiple buttons.
And fuck you, whoever you are.
And also
one
fuck
button.
you, whoever you are. But I don't know. I keep hearing that. People are like, oh, I played as a mage and I just hit the button over and over again and it's nothing.
Maybe you should have done some special attacks, dick.
Yeah. I think I think I know who the person is who said that, and now I want to say who that person is because you just called him a dick, which is great.
I'm sorry. I'm extremely biased when it comes to Dragon Age, and I'm incredibly aware of that.
That's why I'm getting all this stuff out of the way in the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, for a audio podcast, I lazy cosplayed as Morrigan today.
You sure did, and we'll take a picture of it.
And nobody can see it.
No, we'll take a picture of it. All right, let's get into the stuff. Do you want me to do where I'll do the awesome bits, and then you can add your awesome bits? We'll do bad bits. You can add your bad bits.
Sure.
There's a massive truck that went by. It's okay. I don't know what that was. And then we'll do weird bits. Like it's breaking it up. It makes it like manageable.
All right.
Or do you just want to say shit?
I mean, I'm still disappointed that I can't romance Varric.
Oh well.
Somebody's bitter.
Varric's the rogue.
Yeah, he's the dwarf rogue who he's a really, really central character in Dragon Age 2.
Yes, I heard he's the narrator.
Yes, he is the narrator of Dragon Age 2, but he's narrating the story of Hawk.
Right. Which no one cares about, I heard. No one cares about that game or that character.
I care about everything in that game.
Oh, really?
Okay, so
a ton of people don't.
I know. So Dragon Age 2 was not nearly as good as Dragon Age 1. Not at all.
Yeah.
But I thought that even though the gameplay and they reused dungeons all the time, which was really dumb, where one door would be open and one door would be closed, like when you go to it a different time, but you're in a different area. Yeah, it's dumb. But I thought the narrative and the story, and like that's the same thing, and the characters like just brought it along. So I'd never cared. Like I never cared that it was a subpar Dragon Age.
Right.
Like I just played it and I liked it.
Because the story and the characters you cared enough about that you wanted to see what was going to happen and what choices you can make.
Right.
Yeah.
Although I got broken up with, just like I did in Dragon Age Origins.
Maybe it's not the game. Maybe it's you. I'm just saying.
I don't think that's possible.
All right.
Mellow down on the blush. Jesus.
That's probably
It's the blush and the lip shine.
Look like an elven whore. I mean.
Oh, he said it. He said it.
I went there.
I was an elf.
Send angry comments. Nice. So, Paul.
Well, actually, I guess in Dragon Age 2, you cannot be an elf.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
That was putting a finger down on it.
Oh, people were upset about Dragon Age 2 because you can't choose your race. You can only choose your gender and your class.
Oh, yeah.
But the reason they did that is because that follows the specific story of Hawk.
In that Kirkwall area and all
in
that
Kirkwall?
stuff. Yeah.
So you have to be a human.
Yeah, it makes sense.
People got mad.
It's just like you start with a game that has lots of almost feeling like unlimited choices and all these different types of paths you can take. And they closed it down and people got freaked out. Well, good news, Dragon Age Inquisition. Because it's like way open. And we'll talk about how it might be almost too open.
I should have been a Canary.
Oh, Canaries are great. Paul, what's your experience been in the kind of good realm? We're in the good thoughts now, the good section. What are the things that you like most about playing it? Even though you've only played for, a few hours or something?
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah.
Well, Dragon Age Inquisition was my very first Dragon Age game, so I'm actually very, very new to this series.
Okay.
So far, I've enjoyed it. I can't really give a whole lot of insight since I'm still so new and haven't gotten very far. I'm only at level 3.
When you started it, like what's the first thing that kind of stuck out in your mind? You're like, whoa, this is pretty cool. Like this thing.
To be honest, the rifts. I thought the rifts was a nice little touch. I've never played any kind of game like this. I haven't even played Elder Scrolls, so I don't even. This is all brand new to me.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
An Elder Scrolls virgin as well is kind of it's kind of a rarity, especially on our podcast. Yeah. I think the green hand glowing thing and closing rifts is like anybody can get into that. You're like, all right, I have these powers. That seems cool.
He has the mark.
Yes,
he has the mark.
And it's wherever the veil is really thin and things can break through from the fade into our world. What?
From the other side. I want to say that
this is why I want to romance Solus. Damn it.
Solus, yeah, the guy who goes into the fade.
He doesn't have friends.
No, unless he's an elf. So this game has tons of political, religious, racial issues. It's like the real world. Yeah,
everywhere I go, people call me Knife Ear, and I'm like, they're so racist.
That's a mean thing. Yeah, I know. It's so weird. It's like I love it because it's fantasy, but then I'm like, I don't want real world stuff.
Kind of the same thing in Skyrim, though. Everybody in Skyrim and everybody in Cyrodiil, they're all fucking racist.
Yeah.
It's like Khajiits aren't even allowed in towns in Skyrim.
Isn't that weird how they can be openly racist because it's a cat person? You know? But if it was like Hispanic guy or black guy or whatever, they'd be like, you can't make a video game like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't just be like, no, the Hispanics don't come into the temple. What?
But they can do that for the poor Khajiits.
Yeah. Well, anyways, that stuff goes on. What were your thoughts on like that kind of political stuff going on in the game? Do you like that, or do you?
I'm not a fan of political stuff, really. Religion, I'm okay with. Political stuff, it's not my thing.
Yeah, it's weird, but it kind of it's funny because what BioWare does really well is they create a living, breathing world.
Yeah.
You know, Mass Effect, etc. And you go, well, I believe it though. You know, like. Even if I don't like it, I believe this world and these rules that they've set up.
Are you praising the maker right now?
I'm not. I'm kind of on the fence with the maker. I want to say one thing. First off, I am not your damn Herald of Andraste.
I know. I keep doing that too. I'm like, no, I'm not chosen.
They're like, are you sure? I think you're from the maker. No, I'm not. Oh, I'm not that person.
And it's funny because the one time I chose something where I was like, I am the fucking Herald of Andraste.
Oh, you said it?
I said it once, and then my character sounded so smug, and I was like,
oh, that's not how you would have said. Yeah.
I'm out. I'm out.
I think we both pick usually the middle option.
Well, the middle one's the funny one usually.
Yeah, the middle one's usually the funny one. Like,
yeah.
Whatever, dummy. It's like, whatever that equivalent is, you know? Like,
yeah.
I guess if you want to live.
Until I did the Wicked Eyes and Wicked Hearts, or whatever that quest is. That's the only time I pick the polite option most of the time, but you haven't done that quest yet?
I haven't done that one, no.
Oh my god, I think that's one of my favorite quests in the whole game.
Well, we'll get to that. How far is that in, do you think?
If you're at Skyhold, you're very close to it.
Okay.
It might even be unlocked already on your map.
Let's talk about that next. This game is very open-ended. Dragon Age in general is pretty, not linear, but the storyline moves you along.
Yeah.
It seems. And this one, it kind of mixes the two. So it's a little Skyrim, and it's a little Dragon Age, and it's kind of both. And I think that's in the bad part. I'll jump ahead. Who cares? But the only bad part is it's a little too open-ended at times.
How?
Okay, let me explain.
All right.
I'll tell you. And actually, the developers said the same thing. I was just listening to BioWare talk at NYU.
What do they know?
Yeah, I know. They just made the game. But they actually did echo some of the same thoughts that some of us have, and the fact that it was a challenge for them to make something that was open-ended, but then still had this through line. Because in Skyrim, the through line's there the whole time, and you could just play that and be done with the game pretty quickly. But most people didn't because they get distracted. But that was a serious, A to B to C, and then you're done. You could do that.
Yeah.
In this game, it's not like that. It's all over the place. You've got to gain power. You got to gain different type of resources and partners, and basically go to this war table and look at your Inquisition army, essentially. And so they were trying to build it so you had to go do a bunch of different things, and you had to be kind of, exploring everywhere to end up finishing the game or to do certain missions. And so while that's awesome, it's also weird with balancing. So you could just stay in the hinterlands forever and then just level up past whatever you're supposed to be probably for the next section. Or you can underdeveloped or whatever, leveled for another section because you didn't go there when you should have.
But the thing with Dragon Age is if you are, I think it's more than 4 levels above the enemy, you don't gain XP for that kill.
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that. So you're not really benefited by staying in the hinterlands the whole time.
Right, but you can at least still get you can get ahead a bit.
Yeah, you can.
By being in the hinterlands. Yeah. And it's tempting not to because someone's like, "Hey, can you go do that?" Well, if it's your personality, if it's like me or maybe like Kinsey's, or like, "Hey, do you want to go do that thing for me? There's these wolves over there." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do that." I kind of say yes to everything.
I do that too. Yeah. Well, I never say no to a quest. Even when it comes to Vivian.
We don't like her.
Do you have Vivian?
Yeah, I have her. Don't care.
I even said yes to her quest, and because I had the option to be like, go fuck yourself, and I was like, no, I got to do it because I probably get XP for it.
Yeah, we think about what we're gonna get for it. So
yeah,
I think that it's just tricky because sometimes I'd be like, hey, what the fuck do I do? Because there's so many options. you just kind of get overwhelmed and you don't really know where that through line is. You're like, it's kind of here. There's a moment that happens, and you'll get it pretty soon. Like early on in the game, there's a big kind of story moment, and it's awesome, and it gets you totally in. If you're playing the game right now and you're going like, man, it's okay, wait for that story moment, and you'll be like, I'm in this game now, because you feel more invested. And it's a really cool sequence with the snow. Right?
That wasn't a big enough hint, apparently.
No, what? I don't want to say spoilers. Do you remember this?
I mean, yeah.
Oh. Walking up the hill in the snow? Wait, do you know, or are you just not saying it?
Oh!
Okay.
I'm back. I'm back.
There you go.
I'm back.
There's just, anyways, that's all I'm saying.
Apparently snow was not enough for me.
Okay.
All I could think of was Game of Thrones when you mentioned snow, and then I got all lost in my head.
Well, that's you then. I don't know.
Welcome to the world of Kinsey.
Yeah, that's Kinsey's brain. Anywho, that moment I think will help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I thought was interesting was that every little thing I did would unlock certain areas. And, and again, I'm not used to games like that. So, if you do this, guess what? You unlock this particular area. Oh, you do this, you unlock that particular area. So a lot of that stuff is really new to me. So it's making me more intrigued to see what else is out there.
Yeah.
And you are not necessarily a gigantic RPG guy, right?
That depends. Like these kind of games, I'm still very new to this, but if we're talking like Secret of Mana, Chrono Trigger, those kind of RPGs, yes.
Oh my god, let's talk about Secret of Mana.
Yes, let's.
And then it just switches to the Secret of Mana podcast, which it could.
I absolutely love that
We
game.
should do like Chrono Trigger or Secret of Mana. We should do Earthbound. We should do a kind of a podcast.
If you do Secret of Mana, let me in.
You play the Earthbound, right?
What
the hell? Get out of here. Get
All
out.
right.
I started it, but
I started it as well.
Both
and
of you get out.
I'm not the biggest fan.
We'll do an Earthbound podcast with just Carlos, and he'll drink alone, and he'll just talk about Earthbound. And then he'll talk to him about himself in the third person.
I'll just drink over there with a mushroom
Single
on my
forever.
head and hate myself.
You should.
Because that's what I think about when I think of Earthbound.
You should hate yourself, because the new one's coming out next year, and you're not going to be able to play it. Unless you play that one. I'm not going to let you.
I played most of the first one. I just didn't care. I'm sorry. There's these big legendary games that people give a shit about, and sometimes I just don't.
It's fine. That's the Dragon Age Inquisition rift between us.
Heyo.
Heyo. And guess what? I can't break it.
That's because I have the anchor. You don't.
Well, you're going to keep the anchor, unfortunately.
Well, it was funny though. Even like, you've been playing too much Dragon Age when on the drive here, we were like kind of like in a dark area that didn't have a lot of streetlights, and like in the distance there was a tree with Christmas lights on it.
Yeah.
So it goes up in like a funnel kind of shape.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, there's a rift over there. There's a rift over there.
Oh wait, no, it's just Christmas lights. Never mind.
Yeah, I see those rifts, I think, in my sleep as well. That's such a fun little side quest they give you. So I would also say the other thing I love about it, besides it being like Skyrim, there's tons of quests. You can jump, and that's a big deal for me. Like, there's a game called Dragon's Dogma, which I love, and the DLC for that's also very good. And you could jump in that game, and it made all the difference. It made it feel like just you could explore more places. You didn't feel like bound to the rules of the world or something.
You can kind of climb up the walls a little bit.
Yeah, kind of explore where you want to explore.
Mountain climbing Skyrim style.
Yeah, you can do a little of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
And then what's funny is I put a video up. You can try to lose your party, but of course they just follow you wherever. Mm-hmm. But I went down this huge hill, and I got to the bottom, and they were coming down, but they were kind of like, we probably can't. Our characters can't go down where you just went. So they kind of look at me for a minute, and then they go back up the mountain. I'm like, what? You guys going the long way around? And all of a sudden, they just plopped in and fell on me. Like they were just there all of a sudden. I'm like, you guys.
They should like come around a corner. You know what I mean? Like you're
that
like, wow, you guys are fast.
With Benny Hill music.
Do you ever use the mounts?
Yeah, I don't care for that horse. I think it's a nice thing. I don't know if it's they said it's the fastest way to get around there, but I disagree.
I see that it's the fastest, and I've been unlocking mounts, and some of them are real cool. But you know what? The thing I like about Dragon Age is when you're just walking around, kind of doing nothing.
Yeah.
The banter The banter is so good.
If there was more of it, though, sometimes it seems like there's not much of it.
There's a lot of lulls, I believe, in this one.
Yes.
I think Dragon Age 2, had the most banter.
And
some of that was real good.
I heard on IGN that they said there was a bug, actually, that stopped some of the banter.
They are doing an update very soon, I read, that is going to fix all their issues, because apparently people are having trouble romancing Iron Bull.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what you guys are. I'm having no problem with that, but...
Have you romanced him?
No.
Oh. So you're lying. You're a dirty liar.
I think a lot of people get stuck because his progression's kind of strange.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for the longest time, I had no conversation choices with him at all.
Mm-hmm.
But it's because a lot of his, approval ratings are combat-based. When you kill Venatori or when you kill dragons, he greatly approves.
He likes action.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a lot of people get stuck there. It's not like a story thing. It's what you kill. So if you ever kill a dragon, take Iron Bull with you.
Yeah. And also, he'll help you kill the dragon.
Yeah, he's kind of one of my favorite characters.
He's pretty good. He's in my party, but at times he's underperformed for me. That's all I'm going to say. He's underperformed.
The Iron Bull has underperformed for you?
I know. In combat. I'm like, dude, he's hanging by a thread and then dies. And I'm like, come on, seriously? Anyways,
Well, why didn't you give him a potion?
he had all the access to all the potions he wanted. Don't.
I kind of, at this point have a staple party, but...
Oh, so let's go through that real quick. Who's your party right now?
I typically use, although I have variations as well,
Yeah.
Iron Bull, Solus, and Varric
Okay.
is my staple party.
And you need Varric sometimes because he's a rogue. And you remember this.
I'm a rogue.
Oh, you're a rogue. Well, then you
And
can
so's
open some of
Paul.
those doors. Oh, you are too. Because you have to open. You need a rogue to open some doors.
I always have one of each person in my party, one of each class,
Yeah.
because there's energize points for mages, and there's bash walls for warriors, and then there's the doors for rogues.
Yeah. The
So
doors are important.
I always have one of each.
Yeah.
But I actually really, really, so Dorian and me are BFF.
He's the gay character.
Yes, I've already gotten
It looks like he's in a barbershop quartet.
I've already gotten the tarot card change is when they're locked into you, but I can't romance him. Or
Yeah.
else, yeah.
So you're best friends.
So we are super BFF. He's already sworn to my side, and I've already gotten shit for it, but from people around me. Well, he's from Tevinter.
Yeah,
so,
he has another class issue there. It's weird, yeah.
So, but I really like having Dorian and Sarah together because their banter is hilarious.
Now, I don't know if I have Sarah yet.
You have to do the Red Jenny quest.
Oh, that's right. I passed her up.
Don't pass her up.
I mean, it's not like I passed her up on purpose, but I didn't know that I got a character from that thing.
You
And I
can't
was like,
romance her,
oh, okay.
but get her
what's
because
the
she's
point?
wonderful. Yeah.
I'm like, and why should I get her? No.
Yeah, her and
I wonder if she'll accept lust.
she won't.
Not don't.
I have the Solus too, and I have the Iron Ball, and I have Blackwall, a Grey Warden.
Oh, see, Blackwall and me, I broke his heart.
When? Already in this game?
He's not the nicest to me anymore.
In this game, you already broke his heart?
Yeah, he was in my bedroom. We should probably tag this as spoiler cast, by the way.
I guess so. Yeah, I didn't want to. We haven't got there yet.
No,
fully.
but he was in my bedroom because apparently I picked too many flirting options with him because he's easy. And then he was in my room and he kissed me, and then he was just like, "I want you," and I was like, "Oh, I don't." So, and then he got really uncomfortable and he left. And now my conversation choices with him are limited, to say the least.
I would say so. That should limit some
It's
ways.
better-
Real world problems.
Yeah.
It is.
Granted, disappointing Blackwall has been way better than disappointing some of the people in Mass Effect. One guy was openly bitchy with me for the rest of the game after I broke up with him.
This guy's
So-
just quiet now.
Yeah, Blackwall's just quiet.
Well, I like him, and he's in my party, and I'm going to get him a girl somehow. Now I feel bad. But yeah, you know that rogue you try to, hook up with? Well, I'll find you another rogue. Let's go to some city.
Sarah's a rogue.
Okay, well, I'll hook them up. Yeah, I like, and I also have, I like Blackwall, and I like Iron Ball and Solus. And yeah, that's pretty much my thing. Iron Ball, Solus, Blackwall. What do you think? What do you got?
I do have Solus. What's her name?
Cassandra.
Yeah, Cassandra. Cassandra, Solus, myself, and the guy with the blonde hair.
Varric? No, this one guy.
I think that is Varric.
Oh, because that's you're early on. You probably still have Varric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rogue. Yeah.
Archer?
Yeah,
He's an archer?
the Bianca
Yeah.
kind of
The only
crossbow
weapon
thing.
you can have? Yeah.
It's not. I gave him double blades.
What?
Yeah, you can give him. So I found this 200 damage, like crazy blade, and then I found another 200 damage, like special legendary blade, and I gave him both of them, and he attacked real well with them.
I can't separate him from Bianca. I can't do it.
Well, I did.
I played Dragon Age 2. I can't do it.
I did,
Well, good for you.
but I did. All right, so that's our party.
Yeah, I'm just a standard party right now, but I still have plenty more to do.
That's a good party. I mean, you're a rogue, so that
Mm-hmm.
still gives you one of each.
Yeah.
Yep. The other thing that I like a lot in this game is the dragons. Like, unlike Skyrim, it feels like to me they feel much more badass and huge and
They're difficult.
scary. Yeah, like I feel like, oh man, that's a fucking dragon. That's not a spoiler. There's dragons in this game. It's called fucking Dragon Age. But
Go figure.
when you do first see one, you'll be like, what the fuck? That's scary.
And
like,
then the first time you attack it, you're like, I didn't do any damage.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you run away.
Then you run away. I think Kinsey and I had the same experience when we first saw our first dragon in this game. There's these mines somewhere early
in
on.
the hinterlands.
Hinterland, so you'll find it soon.
Okay.
And FYI, for anybody who's doing it, including you, once you get into the mines, you're like, I start going down into them. I'm like, oh, I'll get some ore and different shit. And it comes out into another little like valley somewhere. And there's a fucking dragon in there. And he like flies by, and some of my characters was like, "Holy fuck!" Like seriously, they said something like that, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, let's get the fuck out of here."
I think Dorian says something like that.
Yeah,
and,
he's like-
Iron Bull's like, we're in dragon country, and he gets all
He gets all happy.
Stand your ground.
Yeah, if he's saying stand your ground, I'm hitting like L trigger, like get the fuck out of there. What is it like?
he likes
What's
to
that?
run away.
What's that one? It's like disengage.
Oh yeah.
I've used that quite a bit because they're like your characters will just go for it.
If you run away, they'll eventually follow you too.
Yeah, but then they get hit a bunch first.
Yeah, kind of.
They brought it upon themselves.
Yeah, I usually just leave them behind.
So what are the things that you think are awesome about it, and then we'll go into the weird stuff. I mean,
Well-
there's so many good. I love this game, so it's hard to.
Everything is awesome about it.
Yeah, we're done. Let's go to the next section.
It's just so like there's something I love about BioWare games where they do such a great job with the story, but they also do a fantastic job with all the character development. Every single character has their own character quests and their own struggles and their own opinions on everything, including the chantry, the mages. Like there's some characters who just hate mages. Like that's how it is, and you're not going to change their mind. And I don't know, that's really interesting to me that like you can't change a character's mind with persuasion like you sometimes can in Skyrim.
Yeah.
You
just have to go along with it or make your choice about it, but not like change what they're gonna do.
It comes down to a lot of hard choices, and as soon as the cursor on your conversation wheel goes to the pins and it turns all white, you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah. And then also,
This is a big choice.
I like that, but I also like the just like Mass Effect or whatever. You see like the different options, and none of them feel like just good and bad. They feel like, oh, that's just another thing I could ask. It's kind of it's in the gray area.
Yeah, and you can also get like I don't even know how to word them, but you get like some sort of perks. Like right now, I have an arcane perk. So if someone talks about magic and mages and things like that, I can have a special dialogue option that's like a way different thought.
Those are Inquisition perks.
Yeah.
And I almost always, because after we started talking, they're at the war table, which you'll get to, Paul. But at the war table, you get these Inquisition perks, and a lot of them are for things like that. But the other ones, like, because you told me, or one of them is for, like, your inventory getting larger.
That's the first thing I did.
That's the first thing I did after you told me that.
I'm a hoarder.
And then there's another one right after that for inventory again.
I did that too.
Yeah. And there's one more for an extra potion slot, which I
did
also
that too.
did that. Yeah. So I did all those first before I did any of the dialogue options.
I only did a couple, like one or two dialogue options, but mainly I've been sticking with Liliana and the secrets. But, I mean, every RPG I play, I always play as a rogue. I always play as an assassin or a thief if I can. So, that's what I was mad about Fantasy Life.
What was that again?
No thief. No thief class.
Oh, yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. Well, write them a letter.
Maybe I will. A
Maybe.
Strongly worded letter.
Yeah.
You have tailor and cook and angler, but you don't have thief.
Future DLC.
You should
Whatever.
Give it time.
Send it via...
Does it have thief in the new ones?
I don't know.
Oh, I know.
I was just saying.
I just knew that there's like a lot of DLC for Fantasy Life.
Just send it via snail
which
mail.
is all on the cart, by the way, which makes me mad.
What is in the cart?
Oh, sorry. We're taking a weird divergent
To Fantasy Life.
Fantasy Life rant at the moment. But Fantasy Life, all the DLC like came out in Japan as part of the game.
Oh.
So it's all on the cart. So if you buy the DLC in the DS shop, there's no download time because it's already on the
It's
cart.
already there. They just locked it off.
Yeah.
Well,
Pisses me off.
That's actually a really good segue, and it sucks, but it's a good segue because the thing I was going to talk about with that war table, there's a really interesting thing I don't think I've ever seen in a major AAA console game before.
And I think I know what you're talking about, and I think that makes the game look cheap.
It looks weird, and I don't know if you've experienced. Oh, you haven't experienced it yet. You will though. Paul's late to the game. It's okay.
It's all right.
He's
You can
gonna
be
get
late
there.
to the party.
You can be late to the party. You're in the.
I did
party.
it for you folks.
You did.
I did it for you guys.
He's in the party. And he has a party. So at the war table, there's a bunch of different kind of side missions you can do, and you can have your different characters do it for you, basically.
The operations.
The operations of war. And when you pick your little token or whatever and put it on that section, and it tells you what you'll get from this, essentially, like more, control, or what is it called? Not persuasion. It's called what's the main thing you get from that shit?
Influence?
Influence, yeah. You're looking at me like, I don't remember. So you do these little missions, but when you pick them, it says this will take 1 hour in time, or this will take 20 minutes. I'm like, I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah, and like each character is different because you have a choice of 3 characters to do any of your operations on the war table.
Yep.
You can pick Cullen, who is more military, Liliana, who is more spies and assassins, or Josephine, who is more like
Connections and stuff.
Connections and persuasion, and she knows all the nobility.
Yeah.
So you kind of pick how you want it handled, whatever situation it is, how you want it handled, and it also varies on how long it takes depending on who you pick.
Yeah, and that Colin guy always has like, I don't know, we'll fucking just do something.
Is
He's
there different rewards depending on which way you go?
I don't think there's different rewards.
I don't think so, yeah. I think it's the same thing you get, the same kind of...
It's more about the time, and I think it's really just about the time.
Well, what I would
But
love...
it's always me being like, no, this is a Red Jenny thing. I want Liliana to handle it. Like, I think I put way more thought into these than I need to. Like,
I know, I'm wondering that too. Like, I'm wondering if it actually would play out in a story part later. Like because we did it this way, we got something that will play out in the story later.
Yeah.
That way. Like, instead of like going in guns blazing, we actually went in sneaky, and now we have something. But I don't think it might matter, which sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, that whole idea is just really weird because it feels like a pay-to-play thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like you, Evany, or any other, online game. I'm bringing it back old school for Evany, but where you have to like wait for stuff to build, you have to wait for things. And that's a monetization type model at times. So it just feels weird.
I played a lot of the Sims free play on tablet. And that's the same thing. Like, to build the basketball arena, I got to wait 24 hours. Ugh. Or I can pay $5 and it'll be done now.
But what's weird is that this game lets you keep playing, obviously, so it doesn't stop you actually from playing. I just don't know why.
It rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah.
But I think it's only because of the pay-to-play model and that it has the possibility to be monetized. And, like, on Origin, you can buy BioWare points. So I'm wondering if eventually BioWare points are going to be that currency.
That'd be terrible.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just...
Let's pretend that's not going to be the thing. Yeah, it's weird. What do you think? Like the idea of waiting for something in a game you've purchased, it just feels weird, right?
I don't think it's necessary personally.
I mean, let's try to think of like from their perspective, story-wise, is there a reason? Like,
I mean, I guess waiting is better than having it be instant. Because I think that'd be weird too. Like, let's be honest. Like, if you're like...
That would be weird.
That would also be weird. I think pay-to-play has ruined this model for us.
It's like, it's going into our vision. It's like, yeah.
Exactly. Because it's like, hey, this town is having these issues and we need to handle it. And this noble guy lives there, and thus it's a more important issue. Because that's how that works. So you can either like send in an army, send in spies, or you can talk to the nobleman and do this thing. But that's not an instant thing. Like it will never be instant. Like it's going to take time. Like you don't have a car, you can't drive there.
But they could.
It's like it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense all at the same time. Like,
right, but they could just. I think it's just how they show it, right? So instead of showing
Yes.
minutes, clock checking down or whatever, clicking down, it should be like, okay, come back later. We'll go do that, and then or maybe like in 2 different missions or in 2 missions from now, or whatever. Like then come back. I don't know. I just feel like the way that they show the time is the thing that weirded me out.
That's true. It does make it very pay-to-play model.
Yeah, or it looks like it is. So, anyways,
I mean, really, if I wanted to do this whole pay-to-play deal, I'd play a game on my phone,
Right.
and go with that. Oh, you can't do this until you wait another 24 hours, or you can throw down $2 and you can do it now. You've already paid this much for the game itself. Come on, make it worth it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just the way they show it and display it. That's all. It's just making our mind go to a different thing.
That's true, because it's not technically monetized yet.
Yeah, no.
Or it's not monetized.
No, don't even say yet.
Don't say it.
No, it isn't.
It just has, I think the look cheapens it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like the blush.
It's like the blush.
Thank you. That was a nice segue. Or a nice call back. Let's go on to, why do I have to kill all these mages and Templars? That's what I wrote down.
Well,
I know, and I'll let you rebuttal. I know that they're having a bad time, right? They don't like each other. Got that for a long time. And then I have to go into the wild and police shit, because I'm the new police in town. I'm the new sheriff. I'm the Inquisitor. I say things weird when I take medications. And but then, I mean, similar to a lot of RPGs or even video games, when you see a person in the distance and you're like, and the game just goes, oh, that's a bad guy. There's not, and in this kind of game where there's so many dialogue options and so many things you can do with characters, it's just kind of weird that all these guys are like, oh, we'll just go kill that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on just the idea of a mage and a Templar? They're just in the distance, and now I have to go kill them.
Well, that's something I wanted to kind of bring up. Is just for the little that I've played again. A lot of the characters are, I've had just characters, I'm just passing by, not paying any mind to them, and next thing you know, they're blasting me with arrows.
Right.
And I'm just like, well, dude, what the heck? I didn't do anything to you.
And you have to defend yourself.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, well, if you're making the first strike, then shoot, I'll strike back. Here, give them a backhand, and and if they still want to keep shooting at me, then okay, fine. I'll make this quick.
I know, but Kinsey, go ahead and open the can. Right next to the mic. Yeah, on purpose. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, okay, so you guys haven't played the first 2 Dragon Age games.
Okay, calm down. We know.
The Mage and Templar thing is kind of a sensitive issue.
Got it.
Because the Templars work with the Chantry, and they are kind of the keeping the order police, keeping the common folk safe from mages. Kind of. And so
I do remind you, though, I did go through all the story parts.
That's true.
I do
You
know
did
the
Dragon Age Keep.
Yeah. But continue.
So I think a lot of people, especially Templars, depending on what situations that they were in, for example, Commander Cullen, who you guys all know and maybe love.
No.
No.
Well,
no, that's all you.
In Dragon Age Origins? Yes. He was at the Circle when it fell, basically. And so what he thinks of mages is kind of like the tower got overrun by abominations, which is what happens when, a mage, sometimes they accept, demons into their heart or something, and they just can't control their power, and they turn into an abomination.
I heard that happens a lot, by the way.
That's probably actually not right at all.
I think it is right.
I'm trying to remember how mages become abominations, and
something goes into them. Yeah, something goes into them, and it can be accidental, like in dreams. I heard too.
Yeah,
they can just get weird demons in them.
You dream, sometimes you can go to the Fade and shit. So, a lot of people's views of mages are very slanted. So the Templars are there to keep order of the Circle. The Circle is where mages have to go, because that's where they learn how to control their power.
Unless they're an apostate.
Which is an illegal thing.
Yeah.
You know,
I dig those, by the way.
I do too.
I dig
You're
those
just
guys.
well, hello, soulless. So you're just like roaming the countryside and staying away. And Morrigan from the first one, she's an apostate as well. But you're supposed to, you have to go to the circle, and you have to be guarded by the Templars and all this shit. And like Vivian is in this game is a circle mage, and she believes wholeheartedly in the circle. But the people who don't want to be like repressed and don't want to have to stay in these locations and do these things, like they just want to like, you know, live the fuck out in the hinterlands and have a cabin. Like you can't do that as a mage.
Right. But
So, like-
that explains why I would go. So it still didn't explain why I would kill all of those people. Like, I mean, maybe they do. By the way, they do disappear into a green dust.
Yeah.
Which seems kind of weird. I don't know if that's video gamey or if that's part of the lore.
Well, in this part in the game, it's rogue mages and rogue Templars.
Okay.
Because in Dragon Age Inquisition, the circle falls and the chantry falls. So thus the Templars kind of go away from the order and go side with whoever they want to. No spoilers here. And the circle dissolves because there was like a vote, and the head enchantress decided they were going to disband the circles. And so then there was the people who wanted to stay in the circles who you've been outvoted, and then there's the rogue mages, and then shit all broke loose because there's no control anymore. So the same thing kind of happened on both sides.
But I'm still wondering why I have to go kill them all. I don't get
where you're at in the story. Like
no. Where I'm at, I'm at Skyhold.
Well, now you're at Skyhold, but like
Yeah.
at a certain point, they're just gonna. There's certain think of radicals. Like if they're out in the wilderness, like
This is getting real scary. It's getting real close to politics. Like
I know.
And like weird shit. Because I'm asking the hard questions.
If you have to fight them, that means they are the radical people who will attack you first.
Right.
And in, like you said, in Dragon Age games or in most RPGs, if they attack you first,
Yeah,
they
you're
are
gonna
a bad
attack back.
guy.
Right.
This is how this is. They're already a bad guy. You're going to kill them. You're going to get through this. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't explain why they turned into green dust, though. I don't get that part of it.
They're
I think that's
mages.
video games.
They can do whatever they want.
But I think the Templars do too. I think it's a video game.
Oh.
Everybody
No,
disappears.
Oh, you mean when they die?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just so they can become their weird, like, loot satchel
Right.
or loot ribs.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's just
it's
to
a
get
video game thing.
That's a video
Yeah,
game.
so in the end of it all, it's because video games.
Well, I'll tell you why
Because
specifically
video
video games. It is because video games. Because if you have too many characters lying around, extra polygons chug systems. So all of a sudden your system will be like, well, there's 1,000 dead people in the hinterlands. We are going to crash your game now. That's why. But I feel like they could do it a different way. I don't like how they disappear.
I'm glad you finally left the hinterlands, by the way.
Oh, I'm way past. I mean, been in like 5 or 6 different areas. Yeah.
I don't even think I've been in that many.
I've been maybe 7. I've been in a desert, in a rainforest. And here's the thing about this game: you can go, and this is something that Kinsey just mentioned. It's good for you to get out of the hinterlands. You'll be in there, Paul, for a bunch, but at some point you should leave because some of this world is beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm at the Graves place. What's it called?
Emerald Graves.
It is unbelievable. I've never seen a place like that in a video game. Because the trees are like redwoods, and you feel small in this huge forest.
It's so rad.
It's big. It's better than Skyrim. It made me feel more immersed than Skyrim. And I'm a third person, not first person, but it still made me feel more immersed because of just how the layout is. It looks so natural.
I like the Oasis as well, the desert place.
Oh yeah.
Over on the far side.
By the way,
in Orlais.
Orlais, yeah. I do a lot of the Ferelden first because it's all together, and I just kind of.
The other games were all in Ferelden.
Okay.
So this is the first time we've ventured outside, and I'm kind of hoping we can explore a little bit more.
Well, you will. We're going to take a quick break and then go into the weird bits of Dragon Age Inquisition, and then we'll get to some of the other things. Like mini dinosaurs, because those are in this game. Do you know that? There's mini dinosaurs. We'll be right back. So we're back, and hope you enjoyed that lovely music. And currently, Kinsey is eating a sandwich. So just so you know,
It's pretty good.
you'll hear that.
I was just really hungry.
And we bonded over that we both hate mustard.
Yeah.
Mustard's
I do hate mustard.
fucking terrible. But
It's awful.
some people
Don't
might
put it
like
on my stuff.
Yeah. Like people are making you sandwiches. If you're ever making Kinsey a sandwich and you're thinking, I should put mustard in here, probably not.
Mm-mm.
So in Dragon Age, there's mini dinosaurs. That's all I had to say. What would you call them? Yeah, what was that?
Darkstalkers, I believe she called them.
Dark stalkers.
Dark stalkers.
In the dark.
Deep stalkers? Dark stalkers.
I saw them in the dark.
Deep stalkers.
Deep dark stalkers.
Yeah.
They look like mini
it.
dinosaurs in the dark that I saw them.
Close up, they have like worm faces though.
Did you say warm faces?
Worm.
Oh, worm. Ooh, that's gross.
Yeah. Look it up.
I hate these mini
Oh, I
dinosaurs.
think, no, deep stalkers. It's deep stalker.
Okay.
Okay.
Ew, that's a creepier name too.
I had to get to it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's deep stalkers.
I would just mention this really quick weird bit. I have two weird bits. One was there was two girls that I came across one lady, and there was a dead lady, and there was like a little picnic setting, and I was like, "What went on here, lady?"
Oh yeah, I remember.
And she's
that part.
like, "Oh, nothing." And I'm like, "Seriously, what went on here?" Enough times that she was like, "Okay, here's the deal. I was fooling around with this girl, and she got killed." And then some other things she said. But while she was telling me the story, that was kind of sad because it was like her lover and then she's dead. She was standing on her head. Like the whole time telling me that story. Because, video games, it just felt real weird. I was like, and it was clipping too. So she's like, boot through the face of this lover who I supposedly, cared about. She's like, oh, it's so bad. We were trying to be together. I'm like, you see what you're doing? Because it's taking me out of this video game. Anyways, that happened. And Iron Bull did this one thing in a dialogue. He was like saying, like, I'd be a good boss. And the guy's like, what would make you a good boss? He's like, I once did like no pants work day.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, and then the guy's like, what? He's like, what? You don't like no pants work day? Who doesn't like no pants work days? I was like, that's funny.
I'm a fan of no pants days.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can get away with it most places, but...
It sounds pretty comfortable.
Oh, at home you can.
At home.
Yeah, and you might.
Maybe.
Often.
Maybe.
Also, what's weird, and this is the last weird thing that I'll mention, Freddie Prinze Jr. is the voice of Iron Bull.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. That's
He's
just weird to
actually
me.
still around?
Yeah.
He actually does a lot of video game voices. He was in Mass Effect 3 as well.
I just found that out. He was in Mass Effect, yeah.
Oh,
I had no idea. Because Iron Bull's a pretty distinct character, but he's kind of funny too, and it's kind of fun to know that. He was part of this NYU Game Center live chat with BioWare tonight I was listening to. I'll put the link up because I think you can go back and watch it even though it's over. And Freddie Prinze Jr. is there, and he's being real funny and talking and stuff. I was like, that's kind of cool and weird.
He does a lot of cool video game voices now. It's pretty rad.
Yeah, I'm into him. And the last weird thing is actually just the costumes are fucking awesome and weird as shit. Like, I see things in that game where I'm like, that's like a New York, runway kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like, no one would wear that out, but it's awesome looking.
Playing Dragon Age makes me want to start cosplaying again.
Yeah, I mean, the costumes alone, right? Pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's
You
amazing.
did.
This is
You're wearing
lazy
something right
cosplay.
now. Yeah, you're wearing something.
So for those of you who love Dragon Age, the BioWare store has so much good stuff right now.
Yeah, you were saying you were buying a lot of things.
A lot of it's sold out now, but
Do you wonder why, Kinsey?
sorry
Just
guys.
you.
They have a Cassandra hoodie that's like a Seeker armor, and it's wonderful. And it's all wonderful. Just if you like nerd clothes, go to the BioWare store right now because they're probably sold out of almost everything by now.
I'm guessing it's store.bioware.com.
I think it's BioWare store.
Oh, there you go.
I think if you Google it, it's the first thing. That comes
Google
up.
it. Use the internet.
You'll find it.
It's a thing. You'll see Kenzie. You could see Kenzie wearing something. That'll be the link. Well, basically, Dragon Age all around. We're totally digging it, right?
Yeah,
Everybody's digging it.
absolutely.
Go purchase it. Obviously, if you like Dragon Age, you will love this game. It's more open-ended probably than any other one, and to a fault at times. But that fault is real small because I want to leave this podcast and go play it right now. So it's addictive, and I love it. Did I say everything right? Because he's judging me with her mouth full. Let's
Well, I
see,
was
did he
gonna
get all the
say-
right parts?
I don't think it's too open, just because I have been like finishing areas and then moving on to the next. Like,
yeah,
completely.
But, right. So I think there's certain areas that are like super huge, like the hinterlands.
The hinterland is probably the biggest one.
Yeah, and then other ones where you can kind of be like, all right, I'm gonna just do these 4 or 5 things I need to get done in this area, and then I'm out.
And I think the mire might be the smallest.
Okay. Yeah, they're different like sizes of them, but the ones that are big, they're pretty fucking huge. So
And don't go in the fucking water in the mire.
no, because monsters come out. Although you can
Yeah.
level up in that. You can level up
You
by doing that.
can, but it's obnoxious.
Takes a while, anyhow.
Yeah.
And I have not been able to romance pretty much anybody. 35 hours in,
Nobody?
nobody. This is interesting,
Well,
but
I
guess
have-
what?
I haven't fully romanced anybody. I've only kissed them.
Right. Okay. So I haven't even gotten close, and the only thing I got close with, nice,
And I kissed him every time I walked up to him. I was like, "Is that kissing option still available?" It is, and I just did it until it went away.
a lot of kissing. No, the only person I've had interested in me, or that I was interested back, I guess, was that scout lady. Is she a dwarf? I think.
Oh yeah, you can't romance her.
But she got real friendly.
Oh, did you guys see the Penny Arcade comic about that?
No. About her?
Yeah, because you can flirt with your scout.
Yeah, I flirted with her a lot, actually.
I do too. Every single time there's a flirt option available, I flirt with her. And
She's fun. She got little freckles.
Yeah, she's Scout Harding, I believe. I think that's her name. But like the latest Penny Arcade comic was like, it was a male. I think it was a mage inquisitor, but he was just like, "So what's going on here?" And she like says it very military like, and he's like, "Oh well, good thing you're hot,"
Oh.
And she's just like, "You're like my boss."
Oh, yeah, right.
And
That's
like
what it is.
it just got real awkward real fast, and then like the inquisitor character just kept like flirting, but like in a really awkward way, and finally she was just like, "Yuck,
I gotta go.
I'm gonna go."
It is funny because the option I could say was something like, well, why do we keep meeting in a place like this? Am I
Yeah.
right? It's like the worst lines ever. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't think my guy would say that after he just like, defended someone's honor and was awesome. And he's like, so anyways, what are you doing later?
I do that every single time I see her, so
I have been.
I can't help it.
But I didn't know that you can actually romance her, so now I'll probably just stop.
Part of me thinks
I don't think you actually can. Sorry.
I'll say no. It's cool. I'll say part of me thinks that Alexandra's been eyeing me, like in the good way.
Oh.
I don't know. It's just like, okay, so what can I do to kind of bring her in a little more?
Well, Cassandra, like, she's amazing, by the way, but it's a lot of
Oh, I
she's
know.
very religious, so.
Well, you should love the
Maker.
Be a big Maker fan.
Maybe
Not Maker culture, but the actual God.
Praise maker.
Yeah,
Yep.
praise Maker.
support the divine and things like that, and I think you will be well on your way to some hot Cassandra sex.
Although in the beginning,
Excellent.
she wasn't like smitten on you at all. That was like the hardest. It's like the hard sell because
Yeah.
she was like, "Who are you? What? Come on."
I don't know if she romances women, but every single time I flirted with her, she was just acting as though I was being a sarcastic bitch. Like her response, I was like, "That was me flirting with you, jerk!" Like,
Yeah. Well, go play that game if you like RPGs. Before we leave the what we're playing section, Paul, you were talking about being excited about Guilty Gear, a new Guilty Gear game coming out.
Yeah, actually, Guilty Gear Xrd Sign just came out in Japan today, and will be released in the U.S. About a week and a half later.
Xbox One, PS4, or also
no,
360.
PS3, PS4.
Uh,
It is PlayStation exclusive.
right?
Yeah. I've been a Guilty Gear fan since Guilty Gear X, which was the second game of the installment of the series. I didn't play the first one until later, which, God, it's weird going from like a PS2 Guilty Gear to a PS1 Guilty Gear. Oh, man. It's
PS1. Although with that game, at least, it's more cartoony anyhow. So it's like
it's
you're not dealing with
definitely
polygons.
anime-ish.
Yeah. Like
but yeah, no, I've been looking forward to this game and actually having it in my hands for almost a year now.
do you think it'll be Vita too? Because it seems like they can obviously do that now. Vita basically plays like PS4 games.
That's tough to say.
Yeah. Because I think that would be fun to do like on the go. I haven't played fighting games in forever. But when's the last time when you played, Kinsey, with your mouth full?
The last fighting game I played?
Yeah.
Well, like, as far as a new fighting game?
Yeah.
Probably Street Fighter 4 or Soul Calibur. Or Smash Brothers Brawl. I don't know
Smash
what...
Brothers.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know
Wait.
when those came out.
What about the DS one? Did you play the DS Brawl?
I sure
or,
didn't.
Sorry, DS Smash Bros.
Oh, well, I did play the demo.
Okay, well, that's...
Yeah, I played the demo, but I didn't actually get the game.
But the one you were seriously into, mine was probably Street Fighter 2, because it was like new crazy graphics and what the fuck.
Oh, what was the last fighting game I was into?
Yeah, but that you played more
I was
than
like,
once.
oh, that's a different question.
Well,
Darkstalkers.
oh, that's a great game.
Yeah.
Yeah, was the last one I was actually into, or Third Strike in the arcade.
Who did you use Darkstalkers?
Darkstalkers, I used Morgan.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
Oh, she's so wonderful. I like the way her character plays.
So does everybody else.
And
Boingy, boingy, boingy.
she's got those too.
Oh, she's a lady.
Or
She's
you
a
can play
succubus.
Yeah, she is actually. Or you can play as Lilith.
Which is
She's
not much better.
Kind of good too. She's flat.
Just keep my mouth shut.
But I think I like the Street Fighter characters better in Third Strike than in the classic Street Fighter. I really enjoy the Third Strike characters.
I can't remember Third Strike at all. It's like blanking.
It's got like 12.
Well, there were so many different characters that were outside of Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
And Street Fighter 4.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of original characters, like Sean, Oro, 12, Q. There's just so many different characters.
There's Opera Guy, who when he first steps on the field, I guess he does he does the opera thing.
How'd they go again?
Nope.
Okay, no.
And he has that girl who tends to him, kind of like what's his butt? I'm not good at fighting games. Why am I talking about that?
I have no idea.
There's that one guy who does that one thing.
There's really cool characters in Street Fighter Third Strike.
Yeah, okay, we believe you. Well, Guilty Gear, check it out if you have a Sony PlayStation. It'll be coming out soonish, we think, right?
Yeah, and I can't remember the exact date. Part of me wants to say the 16th.
Okay, of December.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So it's soon. Maybe I'll pick it up. I remember liking the characters in Guilty Gear. I love, they seemed all weird and funny and interesting, and they animated weird too. Like when they walked, sometimes it wasn't just like your standard, dun 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 stance. It was like they would do crazy things or be on their crab walking or something. Just really weird stuff.
Oh yeah, you're
who's
probably
that
talking about Zappa.
Yeah.
The guy who bends over backwards, and that's actually his stance.
And I was like, it looks uncomfortable. Looks real uncomfortable.
That's because he's possessed.
But he's used to it.
He's all right.
Yeah. Listen, this happens to me all the time.
I was gonna say, if you haven't seen any of the trailers for the game or some of the gameplay, look up Faust.
Okay.
The guy with the paper bag over his head and the giant scalpel.
Okay.
Look up his. I want to say it's his instant kill or one of his supers. There's a video out there where it shows everybody's animation because he does the whole 1,000 years of pain. If you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they go really in depth on how he approaches it. Full of speed, and he's just like and next thing you know, every character has a different reaction.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Some of them is just absolutely hilarious, and some of them are just like, that's all. Yeah,
that's that game where you can have an instant kill, though. I feel like not many fighting games have that, right?
Except for Dive Kick.
Well, that's a different type of game.
Well, yeah, just kick him in the head, and that's it.
But I feel like that was maybe one of the things I liked about it when I played it. I was like, oh, you can literally, if you pull this move off, it's just over for that person.
That's right, yeah. And
I kind of dig that.
Yeah, the thing with Guilty Gear and their instant kills is the nice thing was you can do it at any time in the game. You didn't have to wait till they were at a quarter life.
No power meter.
Yeah. Yeah, Guilty Gear, you can do it at any time.
Yeah, I dig it, man. Well, I'm excited for it to come out, so everybody check it out. Kenzie, you're also playing Tales from Borderland, or Tales of the Borderland, or Tales from the Borderland?
Tales from the Borderlands.
That one.
And so I'm a really big Telltale fan.
Yeah, who isn't nowadays?
And the first episode of Tales from the Borderlands came out last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I played it, and it was amazing. And I loved every part of it. And yeah, I feel like I can't really say too much about it because it's a Telltale game, so it's all based on choices.
Yeah.
But
I heard it's funny. I heard it's cool because it keeps like the Borderland feel, the world, but you have these characters who are kind of just regular people.
It's very Borderlands.
Yeah. Awesome. And we do know that one character's in it because there's a mission with his name in it, right? One of the characters from Borderlands. What was that? Anyways, there's characters from Borderlands.
Well, there's like the Vault Hunter. So
yeah. Anyways, go check it out. I mean, it's pretty cheap, right?
It's $5 an episode, or $20 for the season pass.
That's what it is. Yep.
And I mean, a lot of people get mad because Telltale games always go on sale later. But I'm the person who likes to play them as soon as they come out. Like, I was probably the biggest Wolf Among Us fan ever. Like, I sought out a Wolf Among Us spoiler cast so I could be on it and talk about Wolf Among Us. Like,
nice. Yeah, early adopters. But
I love it.
If you love this world, you want to get to it quickly. So
yeah, and it's great. And the Game of Thrones one should start next week.
Yeah,
this week?
There's
next
a review
week.
already out for it, and it got bad reviews.
I'm still gonna play it.
I know. But it's just interesting that it got. And I don't give two shits about Game of Thrones. We have probably not talked about it on this podcast because it's not in video games. But I'm literally angry at Game of Thrones. But we won't go into that. But I won't play that fucking game.
I'm going to play it.
I don't give a shit that Telltale's doing it.
I like Telltale, so I'll play it.
You're like, Carlos, well, I support them, so you're a bad person.
I
love them.
I just want the Wolf Among Us season 2 to come out because like that's where like because I love the Fables comics.
Yeah, I
do
too.
I love Telltale. So come out with season 2. Come on.
I'll take that. I want to say one more thing that I'm playing, and then we'll do a couple news bits, and then we're going to go back to the Nintendo Campus Challenge because we didn't really finish that. We went right into Dragon Age. But real quickly, I'm playing this app called Mountain. It's just MTN on iOS app.
I saw that on your Facebook, and I was and you were like, no, just look at my Facebook. It's all there. And I was like, I don't get it.
Yeah, it's a mountain simulator for $1. And I purchased it almost immediately because of what it was explained to me as.
It's $1?
It's $1.
All right, continue.
Okay. So John Daly was on Indoor Kids podcast. He's a comedian, and Indoor Kids is an amazing podcast, so you should listen to it.
I do like them.
And John Daly... Oh, you finally listened to it?
I did when I was allowed to listen to podcasts at work.
Okay. Well, if you're allowed to listen to podcasts, listen to Indoor Kids, as well as us. But John Daly talked about his friend doing an app, and it was Mountain. And he explained it. Basically, you pay $1, and you have your virtual mountain, and it lasts for 50 hours, like an RPG or something. And there's a little keyboard that you can't see, kind of a virtual keyboard on the bottom of the screen of your mountain. And your mountain's like a randomly generated mountain, with different things on it, each person's. The mountain's actually floating in space, so you can actually like zoom out and see your mountain just kind of floating in the middle of nowhere. Then you zoom in on it, and it goes through like seasons. It has like little rain and snow things that happen. And when you type in these little sound effects on the bottom, it just randomly does something. And it sometimes doesn't do it right away. Like I saw fireflies that came out at night after I did a bunch of little keyboards. And I can't tell if whatever I'm doing is actually affecting it. But I heard John Daly mention that like if you do certain things, a man starts walking out of nowhere and walking on your mountain. Or like a bird flies by or just random shit. It's kind of zen too because it just has this little kind of saying every once in a while at the top. Like, I am experiencing great pleasure looking into the abysmal, space or something. It's meditative almost in a way. So anyway, this is the game that I'm playing. You don't really play it. It's a simulator. You're just kind of like looking in this weird mountain. So that's something.
All right.
It's not even interesting at all to you?
No.
Okay.
Like, now this virtual keyboard you were saying, is it like you type in a certain code and it actually does something different?
I can't tell what it's doing. That's the thing. I would love it to do some sort of like ding, when I've done something that changes it.
Okay.
But it just changes happen, and it doesn't let you play the keyboard the whole time. Mm-hmm. You can play it for a while when you turn it on, and then it just goes away. And it's almost like something that you did has affected this mountain somehow.
Okay.
And by the way, I heard there's more stuff that happens later on. So, anyways, check it out. If you like weird stuff and you aren't Kinsey or Ball, check out Mountain Simulator. It's $1 and whatever.
That sounds dumb to me.
Okay, well, you sound dumb.
Nah, most likely.
It's all that blush.
Oh.
I'm just bringing it back. That your character has, I say.
I should have put on more blush.
You should have. I don't have a problem with the blush, by the way. I don't know if everyone's talking about it.
Well,
They're making it sound so bad.
Is your character wearing blush?
No.
Well, there you
There
go.
you go.
So this is some controversial thing, I guess. I don't know. I put it in controversy section. PewDiePie was on South Park, and South Park was talking about the idea of PewDiePie. You're obviously aware of him, right?
Oh yeah, no, I actually did hear a friend of mine mention that South Park had made mention of PewDiePie.
They went crazy into it, and they kind of brought up this idea that I don't get because I'm 40. Maybe that's part of it. But this idea that this huge numbers of people are watching people play video games, but even almost like watching people play video games. Like South Park had fun with like Cartman made a video of him watching or him talking to his friends and stuff, and then just like commenting on it. Something very meta. I don't know.
See, like I didn't see this. I just saw like the headlines today. And I did see that this one headline that said, "Not even South Park gets PewDiePie."
No, I think they got it. Exactly.
You think so?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know either way. I've never watched PewDiePie. And I haven't seen this episode of South Park, so.
Well, PewDiePie just stands for there's many PewDiePies, right? He just makes the most money. But there's people who play video games, and then they have a little box in the corner, and they laugh about it and make jokes, and like, oh my goodness, did you see this? And they're insanely popular.
Yeah.
Like the most popular thing.
I have a lot of friends who do that.
Right. And doing it and also watching it. But the thing is that like the cartoon brought up the idea of like, well, what do you want to play the video game? Because like that's the fun part, right? Like, wasn't that used to be it still is the fun part? So I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on like watching people play video games?
Go ahead.
Paul.
You're the guest. You go first.
I can't really say that I've actually watched people watch themselves play video games. It's just I'm always finding myself watching them play the game while their little mug is out the corner.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So you do watch those then?
Well, okay. Well, let's go with PewDiePie since he's the big topic on this. I've actually seen a couple videos where he played. I want to say games like Amnesia and Slender.
Mm-hmm.
And there he is just like, oh my gosh, what was that noise? Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I can't really tell if he's actually playing the game or if he's just there on the corner and just making commentary on it.
I'm pretty sure he's playing it.
Yeah, because that's what I've always thought. But I have seen a little bit of that, and some of it's funny, some of it's just ridiculous.
But don't you think anybody in the fucking world could do that? Like, I mean, when I watched someone recently, another one, not PewDiePie, but just someone like playing one of those Gary's mods, where anything fucking can happen. If all three of us played that right now and recorded it, we'd be like, what the fuck? Holy shit, what the fuck? We would do all the same stuff, and I don't see what the fucking value is. We're not even just value, because maybe it just is funny to watch someone freak out at stuff, but there's no skill in my opinion, unless they're really funny people.
Yeah.
If you want to put like some silly factor into it, just for cheap laughs, like take the bass of your voice.
Why, yes.
Yes. Kinsey, give him a couple swift kicks to the nuts, and then watch him, talk in such a high pitch, and then let's see him make the commentary.
This is not a good idea. I don't sign on to anything. You're off the podcast family. You're done. That's it. He's off the podcast.
I think I'm all right with all of this.
Yeah, Kinsey, of course, is all right with that. She tried to.
Well, thank you for having me.
She's already attempted certain types of these things at a party we were at once. Anyways,
in my defense, they were slaps. They were not kicks.
Still,
to men, they're kicks. Anything in the area.
The result is the same.
It is the same result.
I was drunk. I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter.
Now you're back on the podcast family. He's defending my honor. He's back in the podcast family. Anyways,
that arm kissing ass, but that's besides the point.
I think that here's the thing I will say. I think it's with PewDiePie, and I think it's a couple other people that I watch. And I do this stuff on video. Like, certain people are really good at understanding how to make jokes within things. There's, the comedic gene is in them. And I feel like those guys or girls do well in that. So I can't take anything away from that part of it. Because if you're just funny, you're gonna make anything funny, but there's a fuck ton of non-funny people. That was gross. Did I just hear your sandwich somehow?
Yes, you heard my sandwich. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to call anything out that happens on Kinsey's microphone.
It wasn't that loud. I don't think anyone else heard it.
Well, now everybody knows about it. I just think that certain people do it, but there's just the fact that there's so many. You're staying quiet because you have friends who do these.
I do.
But
I have friends who are like
do you
live
watch
streamers.
all of them? I mean, or do you think that's fun? I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh,
Well, no, okay, everybody.
here we go.
No. We don't. No, none of us have time as regular adults who work for a living to watch all these kind of things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I get that part of it, but I'm just wondering what your thoughts are, just in general. You don't have to be about their streams.
So my thing is, I enjoy watching people play video games, but I enjoy it when they're in the same room with me. I like having a say in what happens because I'm a backseat driver, and it's mainly horror games. I very, 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 very much enjoy watching people play horror games, mainly because I cannot.
Yeah.
Because I can't handle the stress of the controller during horror games. So in that case, I love it because then I have a say and over there. But people probably hate playing games with me in that sense. But as far as watching streams go, I don't care, I guess. I feel bad. I mean, I have a lot of friends who do it, and great on them. I've thought about doing it myself, which is weird because I have never really watched one.
I did it for a half a second, and I was like, I can't do this. Even though, I could do it, and I can make jokes, I just felt weird about doing it. It just didn't feel like something that I would want to do.
On the PS4, you can just broadcast your gameplay, and I just thought about turning that on.
Yep. I've done that.
And I don't have a PlayStation camera, so they can't see me anyways.
Right. But you can do voice with that. That's what I did. So I did you can stream on your PS4. It has a chat room. You can do it on twitch.tv.
Yeah.
Or Twitch, whatever. And you can watch people. And some people came into my chat room and fans of something I've done. And I talked to them. And it was fine. But I was like, I want to be playing the video game. You know?
I know. When I play video games, if I talk, it's me swearing because I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
Or I'm like, yeah, or I don't really talk much when I play games. Right.
I felt like I was forced to say commentary.
Right.
And I didn't really want to for those, for my game.
And especially games like, Dragon Age or Skyrim or things like that. A lot of the times I'm literally I'm wandering around. I'm going to collect these last shards and finish these last quests. This is all I have to do left in the hinterlands.
Yep.
And then there's silence for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That kind of stuff doesn't really appeal to the
anybody.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Well, going back to PewDiePie, I honestly don't find him funny. Honestly, I don't.
I don't. You can totally do that. You can have that opinion. It's allowed to have that.
Game Grumps, I think they're hilarious. I think they're awesome.
I've heard that a lot of people like them.
Yeah. If you haven't watched Game Grumps,
I should look them up. I don't think I've seen them yet.
I would, if you want a good video to watch of theirs, watch their Dennis the Menace video.
All right, I'll type it in.
Hilarious. It's one of my favorites. They do have fans that have made videos of the best of this month, the best of this year, or the best of Ego Raptor or Aaron, whatever he goes by, or the best of Danny or best of JonTron when he was in the Game Grumps. But yeah, you'll find a lot of funny stuff by them. It's ridiculous funny, but still funny nonetheless.
That's a good example, though. You mentioned Ego Raptor. I worked with him on Screen Tear, the show I did, and I promoted one of his videos because it was fucking talented. He does animation. And it's really cool. And I was like, I'm going to fucking promote this guy's video. And then he emailed us, or we emailed it back him or something like that. And we featured him a couple times on the show. And I was like, well, yeah, this guy's being funny and he's animating all the parts of it, And I appreciate that much more than being like, holy fuck, look at that.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll get off that. Love to hear your comments on it. Leave us a post. And then I think we're almost done. But let's just, before we leave, we have a high score champion here. So I don't want to go over that because we kind of just jumped right into Dragon Age. But 1992 Super Nintendo Campus Challenge, medication's wearing off. Or wearing on. I can't tell which one. What did we want to go more into that with?
Well, the 1992 Super Nintendo Campus Challenge, again, it's a 6-minute, 21-second time competition cart.
Yeah.
Consists of Super Mario World, F-Zero, and Pilot Wings. Now, kind of the same concept of the Nintendo World Championships. Super Mario World, you have to collect 50 coins. F-Zero, just complete 2 laps. And then Pilot Wings is the parachuting stages and the penguin high diving stages. And it's just, again, rack up a high score as fast as you can. Right now, not to toot my own horn, but I'm
toot away.
Yeah.
On YouTube, I haven't seen anybody shoot as high a score as I have in 6 minutes and 21 seconds, and I'm pretty sure I have the highest score.
Nice. And so that's how the high score ropes in here, right? They have a hashtag high score.
Well, there's highscore.com and there's at highscore on Twitter.
Okay, they're different things?
No, they're the same.
Those two are the same. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They're run by a guy whose tag is Sirius.
Yep.
He runs highscore.com, and the way highscore.com works is you submit a score for any game, and if the game's not up there, you can submit the game to be added into the database.
I really like that. That's cool.
It's really cool. I mean, I've had to add a ton of games.
And you did it for like a Dig Dug 2, right?
Yes, I did.
I saw that.
Yeah.
It made me really happy.
Yeah, I did it for Dig Dug too. So you just submit the high scores, and there's a voting system. You have to get 25 votes, whether they believe it's legit or not. And there's a percentage score of all your votes, whether it's been fully legitimized or not. Like right now, I'm sitting at like a 98.5% legit rating for my scores. It's best to have videos rather than photos, which I'm realizing that.
Do people actually Photoshop shit? Is that like a thing?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And people post false photos too.
You know what, people, if you're doing that, just think about how it makes you feel inside. Really, because seriously,
I hope you feel bad.
You should feel bad.
You should feel
it's just
so much
real
shame.
bad.
It's an empty existence.
So
You have
much
emptiness inside you. Anyways.
But yeah, no, just in what I do with my submissions is depending on the game, I will make a video of my gameplay. And in the beginning of each video, I will put up a notepad with my name, the game system, the game name, Twitter handle, and then I'll add the score at the bottom. So that way everybody knows it's legit.
Cool.
But even regardless, I've had people say, oh no, your gameplay, even though you've got like 3 different videos of your gameplay, because of segments, they'll still say, oh no, this isn't legit. Come on, you're cheating. I was like, how? The proof is right here.
Because people are awful, and that's the reason.
I think they're just jealous. But
And
that's
jealous.
Just me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Salty.
I tried to do that. No way anyone could get that score.
Right.
Yeah. I think it'd be interesting. Has anyone, or even you, uploaded one that didn't have maybe, traditional points, per se? We were just talking about that in the beginning. Some games don't have, they have some points, but it's not, based on score.
Right.
I feel like even, Crash Bandicoot has, how many fucking fruits did you get?
Yeah.
Can you use that?
You'd be amazed at what they have on that site. They have, for instance, Smash Brothers. Mm-hmm. They have your distance for the home run contest.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever has the furthest hit in the home run.
Yep.
They've got race times for laps and overall times. They've got scores for this level on one game and another level on the same game. There's just so many different things.
And they have it separated too between the game and emulating it.
Yes, what they do is for instance, if you're posting, say I want to post Kid Icarus, what they'll do is they'll say, okay, this is for the NES, so automatically they will say NES and emulated NES.
Right.
So there's two different segments for people who don't have the actual cartridge. They can play it on their computer and just go for a score there, and it'll be separate compared to the authentic card.
Which actually, I really like that they do that.
I do too.
Well, because also there's the frame rate shit, right? Like if your emulator, it's not going to be the same as traditional actual cart stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Did you just say that?
No.
Oh, okay.
But you did.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what people say. Is it highscore.com then?
Yes, highscore.com.
For some reason, I did www and it didn't come up, but highscore.com does work. Do they not have their
People
www?
don't use the W's anymore.
No, people don't
Hey,
use
back in my day.
They don't use HTTPs anymore.
There it is. It's a no nonsense website. Pretty much straightforward. You get your scores and how it works right on the homepage. So
it's a much more lenient than Twin Galaxies.
right, because those guys got to calm down. I mean, I'll just say it. All right.
Twin Galaxies.
Oh, long
I
hair.
really,
SRGE has their own Twin Galaxies trading cards, so
really.
whatever.
Well, I know they were at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo for the Tetris Championships, and right after that, I saw that Twin Galaxies was a part of that, and right after, I wanted to post my 1992 Campus Challenge score for 621, and I wanted to send them a video, some pictures, anything that I could do that I can put my score in, and all of a sudden, I get an email back saying, "Oh, we're not accepting new scores." I'm like, "What?
What?
How are you not accepting new scores?"
That sounds like
are,
conspiracy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I mean, like, Twin Galaxies is like every gamer's dream of being like, I hold this Twin Galaxies high score.
Right. Yeah, that seems weird. It's always felt fishy to me. Like all the documentaries I've seen on it and stuff, it just feels like, what's going on over there? Billy Mitchell's all making barbecue sauce and
Billy Mitchell.
I'm so confused. I'm so confused
And then
about that world.
what's his butt is just singing Christian music now.
Yeah. It's so weird. I'm so confused by that.
Steve Wiebe. There
Steve
we go.
Wiebe, that's right. Yeah.
But I don't know. I went to this one guy's house to buy an arcade machine once.
Mm-hmm.
And he had, like, I didn't say anything because I was, like, kind of in awe. And I was trying to do, like, a Craigslist deal. So I was also trying to keep my cool.
Yeah.
But he had certificates on his wall of Twin Galaxies high scores. He has the one in Donkey Kong Jr. I don't know if he still does.
That game's hard.
And, like, a few others. And, like, I just remember being like, Kinsey, calm down. This is a Craigslist deal. Like,
Nice.
don't get too excited.
I tell you what, Craigslist deals are always weird. It's always like, you're like, because I've sold a phone on there once. You're like, yeah, so hi, we're in this parking lot. So here's my thing that I have to sell. It's legitimate. I didn't steal it or anything.
I went to his house that was 2 hours away.
Oh, it's so weird.
I was like, please have this deal still be on when I get there.
And also, please don't, like,
Please don't murder me.
Be a
strange and
creeper.
murder-
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, High Scores Arcade, there's a High Scores Arcade in Alameda, California. Just a fun fact. It's not anything to do
I
with
do like
Twin
fun
Galaxies.
facts.
Yeah, it's a fun fact. I think that's going to do it. I'm going to start passing out soon due to either drugs or just drugs, basically.
And I have to go to the bathroom.
Oh, that's a great reason to stop the podcast. Paul, it was awesome to have you here. And I forgot to mention that I moderated one of those things you were in. The contest at SRGE.
Yeah, you were one of the MCs for the Arcade Armageddon.
I was trying to keep it together because there was a lot of chaos going on in that. But it was really fun.
Yeah,
And I bought you pizza.
You did buy me pizza. It was Domino's pizza. So we all have been. We've all shared an event together. So now we've shared a podcast. And Paul, where can people find you on the internet? Everywhere. Where can they find you?
Best places you can find me is Twitter at Mega Retroman, all one word. You can find me on YouTube as well at just search Mega Retroman.
99 Lives podcast? Maybe.
He's
like, man, not so
if you
much.
want to, yeah, go ahead. 99 Lives podcast. We haven't
a good
really
name.
we haven't really done anything in months, but we're. I actually spoke to one of the other guys who does the podcast with me. In fact, the guy who beat me at Arcade Armageddon.
Oh, I remember him. He took cartridges and rained them all over his head like it was water.
Yeah. We were just talking about that the other day, and it's like, hey, when do you want to do another podcast? I'm like, I really want to do another podcast.
You got to make time for it. And what we do, and I think any other successful one does, is you got to schedule it. You just schedule out, and then it just becomes this thing on your calendar, and you got to do it.
We were doing a weekly show, and then things just kind of faltered out.
Yeah.
So and my work schedule is all hectic, so I couldn't keep up with it.
What's interesting is that podcasts are, unless you're doing like just the news, you can still go back and listen to old podcasts. So people can go,
absolutely.
Go check out old 99 Lives podcast because there might be some great conversations because conversations are, fun and they happen and things happen out of them. Like we talk about blush and weird mini dinosaurs and other shit. And
there was
sandwiches.
There was one episode where we were talking about how to brick somebody with a GameCube.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Cut in front of somebody in front of the line at PAX. Have a GameCube in hand, just brick them over the head. Back in the line.
A GameCube makes a pretty good brass knuckle.
It really does. It's so sturdy.
I want to go ahead and throw this out there that Video Game Break Podcast does not suggest any of these. We don't like physical violence unless it's a necessary thing and you're about to get killed. But if you were in that situation, then I guess you could use a GameCube in it.
If you don't have mace, grab a GameCube.
Yeah, there you go. That's better.
Yeah.
Kinsey, you're on the internet.
I am on the internet.
Wait, I guess you're drinking beer. I guess that's your reason.
Talking.
No drugs.
Whatever. Yes, I'm on the internet on Twitter at Kinzilla, KINSCILLA, and I am also a contributor to Metal Jesus Rocks, YouTube.com/Metal Jesus Rocks.
Why? I'm wondering why that was a question mark.
And I am also a contributor to Video Game Break. You can find us on Twitter at Video Game Break or on Facebook at facebook.com/Video Game Break and or videogamebreak.net.
I love this. I think this is going to be a thing that you're going to say it each time, and it's like you're part of the team.
I'm getting pretty good at it.
You are good at it. And I'm Onawa, ONAWA on Twitter. Again, at Video Game Break, I'm part of that as well. That thing.
He's kind of more part of it than I am.
Just mainly the person who tweets from it. And yeah, go to our website, and I think that's it for now. One more thing at the end. Video.xbox.com. We talked about that Atari documentary that came out. It's called Atari Game Over. It starts with the cartridges, the ET cartridges they found in the desert.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But then it actually talks about Atari. Well, we were wondering, because it's an Xbox exclusive, essentially. It's an Xbox video that they made. And it was going to be one of the many of this different ones they were going to do for their platform. But then they canceled that. Anywho, it's a great documentary, and you can get it on video.xbox.com. So you don't have to be on the Xbox itself.
Oh,
so you can go to that website, and then you can hit. You got to sign in and have an account, Xbox account. But then you can
Xbox
sign in.
Live.
Yeah,
Okay.
Xbox Live account.
Okay.
But you can go to video.xbox.com in your browser, and you can watch it. So go do that.
I guess I can also plug if you want to find me on Xbox 360, Mega Retro Man. I'll play a game with you.
Sweet.
It's more than I would do. you ain't getting my number. My number? I sound real old. All right, we're done.
Bye.
Good
Thank
night.
you.